I do have a fairly strong sense of social justice, so that's what I really like about sociology. You know, psychology, for example, is about understanding people, but from a very individualistic perspective. And what I find about sociology is because it is interested in the social structures that can limit people's opportunities, then yes, I am very interested in those social justice issues, and that's what I try to do. I'm on an expert working group at the moment commissioned by the Chief Scientist to look at the Internet of Things. Smart fridges, smart kettles, smart cars, they're all part of the Internet of Things. I consider my role there is to be the person who says, well, what are the unintended consequences of these technologies? How might people be disadvantaged further by smart homes, for example? There's really interesting work talking about so-called smart abuse, where domestic violence can be further kind of promulgated on women by their partners using smart technologies to monitor them. Now, the engineers and the IT people aren't really thinking about that, and why would they? Because that's not what they focus on. But as a sociologist, I can raise those issues, which I think is really important for the Chief Scientist to know about if we're thinking about the future development of the Internet of Things in Australia. I've always been really interested in the social aspects of health, and I bring that together with my research on how people use digital technologies. I've talked to a lot of Australians about how they find out information about health and illness and medical care, and everyone Googles first. I see that as a really interesting approach, because they sort of decide for themselves whether they need to go and see a doctor. And sometimes they decide, no, I don't need to see a doctor. You know, it's a trivial issue, I can treat that at home. Or they go onto Facebook and they say, you know, my child's sick, you know, here's a photo of their rash. What do you think this is? And they often get advice from other parents, for example. If they're still not sure, they absolutely trust medical authorities. So online information sources and medical authority work hand in hand. It's not like one competing with the other, they're actually working really well together. That's what I'm finding from my research with Australians. As an academic researcher that does focus on justice issues, I do feel responsible for getting it out beyond the ivory tower, from behind the academic paywall, and using social media to publicise my research. Part of my brief is train the next generation of researchers. I really do see that my role is as a mentor, whether it's having postgraduate students or postdoctoral fellows that I'm working with, or other early career researchers. It's just fantastic. It is a real privilege. I love it.